in your AI journey. We had Mike on about, Mike, when were you on? You were on about a year ago, right?
It's all a blur at this point. I
So
think, yeah.
probably about a year. And it was pretty cool what you were doing back then. I can't wait to see like what you're doing now. And I really appreciate you, joining us and sharing your screen.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
as we're getting started, just to give you guys a quick backstory on why they asked me to do this AI thing, because I'm in the mortgage business, same as you guys, producing manager. But I also had created a company called Mortgage Desk that I trained AI bots how to understand guidelines on about 3 iterations ago of AI, which was much more difficult than it would be to create that company now. And then within 4 months, I could see that it was going to be obsolete. So I actually sold the company for 6 figures shortly after creating it, all self-created. And so I'm way down the AI rabbit hole, way down creating tools and all of those kind of things. So
So when you say you sold it for 6 figures, just want to clarify, is that 6 figures after the decimal, or does that include the numbers before the decimal?
yeah. I do the dot and then it was like just a bunch of zeros after that. So I sold it for tens of dollars.
all
Gotcha.
right.
Awesome.
The more important question is what currency? That's what really matters. Good
Bitcoin.
morning,
Well,
everybody.
if it was Bitcoin, he's going to start cleaning up, right? Because isn't that the big thing right now?
Good morning, everybody. Mortgage Marketing Club. Today's guest, we have Mike Fitzpatrick. As he was just mentioning, he is in the mortgage business. Mike owns Legendary Mortgage, is his. And we invited Mike on to share with us how he is using AI for originations, to boost originations, and for his productivity. And we're not upselling anything. This isn't a course or anything. Mike, we're going to turn this show over today to Mike. He's going to share his screen and walk you through. So feel free to put your questions in the chat. Mike's an amazing guy. I know he's going to answer them. Mike, let's just make best use of the time. Let's just turn it over to you.
Oh, I'm
And,
going
and again, I
to,
can't thank you enough for doing this for us.
yeah, man,
You know,
anytime.
in the marketing club, we probably get about 20 messages a week from loan officers in there, and probably about five of them, two to five of them, are about AI, asking for AI tools. What do we recommend? What am I personally using, etc. So I just thought it was great to the timing of this to have you come on and do this. So
Yeah, I'm going
you
to
know,
try to move you guys off of the screen here.
yeah,
It's a
I'm
little
gonna
distracting.
minimize this as well.
I like seeing myself on the screen.
So everybody, like I said, I've got a background in AI. I did launch a company, ended up selling an AI company. So what I'm going to talk about today is just some basic kind of higher level talk about AI and some of the tools that I use in order to drive value to not only my loan officers that work for me, but also to the referral partners that trust us to bring value to them on a daily basis. So um, just get started. Why would AI really matter to a loan officer? A lot of people have asked me this question. Do you think it's going to get rid of us? There's all kinds of fear surrounding AI when it comes to our jobs or processors' jobs, realtors' jobs, all of that. My general philosophy on AI when in respects to what I think that a loan officer should use it for is to be better at the face-to-face human interactions because you're getting rid of the back end um, busy work that we get used to, whether it be drafting emails, articulating something to a borrower because it takes 30 minutes to type up that email, whatever it might be. We're saving time on the non-human to human contact pieces, whereas we can be very intentional with our time when we're face to face or voice to voice with realtors, loan officers, borrowers, whatever it might be. So it's huge time saving. It can give you smart insights based on data that you feed it, which I'm a proponent in the mortgage business to try to moneyball things. I don't know if you've seen that movie, but The Moneyball concept is really big to me. And I think the more efficient that you can make yourself by moneyballing some of your time and your statistics as a loan officer will then make you level up and make you appear larger than you might be right now and level you to the next level. So again, it can help with relationship building if you really start to understand it, use it, and then teach on it, because realtors are very curious about this. And then um, just building tools for yourself and for realtors. So jumping into kind of how I use it and some of the things that I have done with it to make my life easier. I primarily build all of my newsletters on Chat GPT now. I am going to end up hiring somebody to do the graphical part of it, but the content part of my of newsletters for me is all AI driven. I prompted it in order to have it build the content behind this newsletter. And I'm going to bounce back and forth from GPT to this slide. So just to give you an idea, I created my own personal assistant when it comes to newsletters.
You're on
And
GPT, right?
yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah. So you got to have a pro version so you can create your own assistant. But what I did was I created my own assistant to create the content for this newsletter. And I'll give you guys all of the prompts on how I created this. I'll attach it as a PDF and drop it into the group. But essentially, all I have to do in here is come in here every week and go, give me my newsletter. And then it's going to do all of the work for me that would usually take me saving articles whenever they hit my desk, um, making sure that I bookmark things and then go back to it and then type it and all of the different things that it usually takes to create a really good newsletter, not just the one that comes out of your CRM. The one that comes out of your CRM for most mortgage companies is garbage and will get your email domain flagged because nobody wants to read it. People need real insights, people need real value. And this is the way that you can do it. So basically what I did was I prompted it to say, hey, use these 4 websites, Inman, Mortgage News Daily, and fed in a couple of different sites, and then told it, hey, I want to have action items for my realtor partners, CPA, financial planners, divorce attorneys. I want it to give me a general rundown of where interest rates are at, the implications of what's going on in the market for the housing market, and then what's going on in the housing market. So I get rave reviews about this. Right now, I'm kind of hand jamming it and then sending it out to a group that I have in my email. But as you can see, it gives you the sources and everything for these articles. So if they wanted to dive deeper, they can. And this is just one of those ways where I know people in the industry that are really good friends of mine that have great newsletters, but they're spending 2 and 3 hours a week generating their newsletters. And then I end up with very similar content to them and get very similar feedback. And I'm taking 45 seconds to make mine.
Yeah.
Um,
You can even copy and paste that prompt every week, right?
yeah. Yeah. So I'm not copy and pasting the prompt because I created my own assistant. So then I just jump in, and the higher level concept of this is you can have an email company that is integrated with Zapier, and you can have Zapier do all of this for you. So I'm implementing that right now to where, based on a timer, which would be every Friday, Zapier is going to make the call out. It's going to get the content from this personal assistant, drop it into the the email sender, and then sends out the email. So I don't have to do
just
anything.
add to that, in case anybody's wondering, what Mike meant by the email companies, like, your MailChimps, your Constant Contacts, is what he's referring to, not like sending it directly into your Outlook. And then this way you create like a template. They'll have templates in there, and it'll autofill that template for you. And you will have like those nice, shiny, professional looking graphics.
Yep. Yeah. So automation is the biggest thing for me. There's so many tasks that I do really well, but I don't want to do all of them. Or I don't do them all well when I could have something do it extremely well for me. And newsletters is one of those things. Everybody's probably rolling their eyes like, oh, that's so old school. Newsletters don't work. I promise you that if you want to control your career in the mortgage business, building your own database through a newsletter system will change your career and make you portable. Not that I'm saying anybody needs to leave their companies, but It will make you portable. It will make you in the driver's seat, and you'll always have your leads. You'll always have your database. So if you're not doing a newsletter yet, you should be doing one.
Yeah.
The
And you
next
know what,
phase of,
Mike, just to piggyback on that, you could take clips of it and so easily make a Facebook post, make an Instagram post, and use it as a lead magnet, adding to what Mike's saying of how you can create your own inbound leads through these, because it is great information. Putting out this that GPT is going to scrape the internet for most recent, not something that's being canned by, think about it like this. Mike mentioned that if there's 1,000 companies using the same CRM, they all have that same newsletter. They're all posting it
the same template, the same colors. Yeah.
And Instagram's algorithm, by the way, they came out in their keynote. They noticed when something was posted once, twice, and then like the fifth time, they suppress it and give credit back to like the first 2-3 people that posted it. So you don't get that Instagram's push on the algorithm. So, just something to think about when, as Mike's doing, even though GPT's creating it for him, it's unique content for Mike.
Correct. Yeah, because also, and I'll send a prompt to you guys. I'll post the prompt into the group that helps you create your brand voice within GPT. That way, whenever you're doing your newsletter or if you're creating your own custom assistant, you give it your brand voice, you give it by talking to it for a while, and then it will ultimately appear to be you whenever it's sending these things out.
Love it.
So then from there, after that, another big thing that's moving the needle for myself and for my loan officers that work with me here is creating tools for realtors that make their life easier. Imagine being that, and we all know this loan officer that calls the realtor and goes, "Hey, I can close your loan in 30 days. Our process is amazing. This is why you should work for me." That they're going to hear 17 times that day, and they're going to be burnt out on that. But if you shoot them a text message and for an invite to a custom assistant that you made for them on ChatGPT for realtors, and you say, "Hey, man, I'm testing this out right now. I'd love to get your feedback on it. I think it could make your life easier." And then you send them that invite, and then they're going if they use ChatGPT, they'll click on that invite, they'll go in there and they'll start using it. And I've had realtors give me amazing feedback from this. Or the next response I get is, "I don't really know ChatGPT. I haven't started using it yet. What do I do?" Boom. Then I'm shooting them a webinar link to AI for realtors, and it's a reoccurring webinar or a recorded webinar that I've done, so it can tell them a little bit about GPT. So you can see how using this can start layering these layers of value for you and making you the resource for realtors to come to when it comes to AI tools, AI in general, mortgages, whatever it might be. And then you have to be very good after you create those layers and they start seeing you as a resource. You have to be good at asking for the damn business, because I see a lot of loan officers trying to be the resource and then they never follow that up with, "Hey, I'm so glad that you see value in this. I feel like because you see value in this, I would really love to get a deal from you so I can show you the value I bring on the mortgage side." Nobody is doing that last piece that is going really hard into these AIs. Very few people are doing that. And then that's the leverage point. If you're driving value to them, you got to have an ask at some point. And if you're too scared to do that, reach out to me. I'll give you some scripts. I'll help you with that. You can be very direct, very forward with that without making them feel uncomfortable.
Awesome.
Another thing, data analytics. There's a lot of realtors that just don't know how to articulate the data of the market. So whatever realtor association that you're a part of, if you're in a realtor association where you're going to like events and co-sponsoring events and those kind of things, they send out that data typically every month at some point. Some of them send it out every week. Take that data, turn it into ChatGPT, make it something that a realtor can actually understand, because a lot of the realtors aren't going to understand it, and then give them action items on how to use that data in a sales perspective to reach out to their clients and try to get their clients off the fence. So if it's, this is how many first-time home buyers are entering the market, you can take that, plug it into ChatGPT, prompt it to say, "Hey, here's how many first-time home buyers are entering the market based on household creations." And then from there, give me give me sales tactics for realtors to handle objections of first-time home buyers that are saying that rates are too high. And then it'll do it all for you, and you just need to proofread it and make sure you put your spin on it. Make sense? Not too difficult?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
It's super easy.
From there, which is what I created this presentation on, there's a great opportunity for a lot of people to create webinars that will attract massive quantities of people rather than trying to cold call realtors. I can do that all day long. I'm good on the phone. I can cold call a realtor all day long and get a bunch of them to send me business. But if I can get 60 of them into a room to teach them something they don't know about, and then have my ask at the end of that webinar, I'm going to convert at a higher percentage than getting on the phone and calling them. I think you need to do both. I think everything works if you put the effort into it. But if you can lean into webinars this year and get really good at them, I think that you will exponentially increase your business. So what I do with webinars is I essentially come up with a topic, something that's relevant in the marketplace for that week, and I do them weekly. And then I use ChatGPT to help me build out the presentation from a slide standpoint, and then I plug it into a tool that creates the presentation for me. This presentation, believe it or not, would have taken me 2.5 hours to create a year ago or 2 years ago. And then this presentation between ChatGPT and now and this system maybe took me 5 minutes to make it because I knew what I wanted it to say. And then it creates all of the graphics and the and everything laid out for you. So this system's called Gamma. Gamma.app, and it will absolutely blow your mind how well it works. So typically, I'll give you a really fast way that I do these. I prompt it, basically say create a PDF to just sorry, that's the prompt before. Create a presentation for loan officers and how AI can benefit them. Include things like newsletter, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to read that whole thing to you. And then it starts building out the slides. I don't just take this from the can of what it gives me. I do add some things and change some things. And then you come over to Gamma, and it's got, I'm not going to change this. So you come over to Gamma, you hit create new, you copy and paste all of that into here. So I'll go ahead and do that for you and see and show you just how fast this thing is. Boom. Continue. Gave me the slides. I can pick whatever color scheme I want and hit generate. And then you will see this thing start doing its thing. Boom, 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 boom.
Amazing. It's crazy.
Now just imagine you do one webinar a week with this, and it's creating tools for your realtors, or you're giving something of value to a realtor. USDA just had an update when it comes to manufactured homes, whatever it might be. And then you start really leveraging this to build your social media presence, your webinar skills. You're only going to get better at it as you go. So don't be scared of it. If you completely suck at it to begin with, that's okay. No big deal. You're going to do another one next week. It's all good. So it's a great way to really, really leverage your time, your energy, and make sure that you're not going to end up on the other side of the curve when it comes to AI, because you can leverage this to really save yourself time. So it's something that you should be doing. If you're not doing it, you should be. And you saw as it created the slide deck for me, the webinar outline, gave it a professional look. And I guarantee you the majority of realtors are going to not. Yes, you can edit Gamma. Got a question there. You just come in here, you can hit edit once it's out of presentation mode, and you can change anything that you want on it. You can click over on the side have it change the picture. If you don't like the picture that it used, you can fully customize it. You can then offload it to PowerPoint. You can offload it to your presentation software, and it'll be in there for you. No problem.
Mike, I just want to pause there for a second and touch on two things that you mentioned. One, Gamma. I know they have the free, like the freemium, right? What are you paying for on their plan? Just so we know an idea of price. Are you using the Plus or the Pro?
I'm using the top one.
Okay, so it's $15 a month. So it's not
Yeah.
even terribly expensive, right?
Yeah.
And depending on I know you're using it at a higher level. For everybody on the call, you could get started with the free account just to play around with it, because they do give you, I forgot, a Gamma works with credits or tokens. I forgot what they called it. And then you could upgrade to the first plan, which is, it was like $8 or $9. So it's not terribly expensive either. The other thing though, you mentioned how you're doing the webinars. Can you share with us what webinar software you're using? Are you doing the ones where are you recording yourself the one time and then you're setting it up to like run 5 times a week, 3 times a week, and it looks live? Like how are you using it?
Yeah, so the webinar software that I am using is Zoom. I'm using Zoom webinars.
Okay.
I've tried a bunch of different ones out. Zoom's just the easiest most user friendly one that I've found. And I am doing that live at this point once a week. And then my goal, my long-term vision for these webinars is, if you attend live, because I want live interaction, if you attend live, it's free. And then if you can't make it or you don't attend, there'll be a link, and then you have to pay for the recording.
Okay, good idea.
So that's my long-term goal for that, just so I can continue to add to the tools that I'm doing. But it will also create exclusivity for people to be there live and interact. That way, more value is driven in that live recorded webinar, on the off case that somebody ends up wanting to pay for it later.
Okay.
So you can
And
create
right now,
another revenue stream there too.
You're only targeting realtors. Any plans to expand it to financial planners, attorney? Okay, cool.
Yeah. So
just for those that are on the call, will say like, I don't work with realtors, I work with financial planners. It could easily be tweaked, as you saw with Mike's prompts, which he'll share. You could easily replace realtor with financial planner, CPA, attorney.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, it can be converted. This presentation, I can just then change it and say, make this more tailored towards financial planners and how they can leverage it.
Right.
So I don't necessarily even really need to do anything other than reprompt the prompt that I've already done, and get it to give me a new set of slides. So I'm not reinventing the wheel at that point. But I am doing one next week on the TCPA updates. And I am inviting financial planners, really anybody in sales that do outbound lead calls, because it's pertinent to really anybody.
Yeah.
And it's a big issue. So that's one thing. You can then start leveraging it out as a loan officer if you get really to be an expert in a certain topic, and then you can start leveraging out to other potential referral partners. This is boom how you can start expanding that database of people, and why you really need to tailor that, taking it full circle back to the newsletter, why you need to tailor your newsletter not just to a client, so a client gets value out of it. You also need to have value bombs for realtors, for financial planners, for CPAs, for divorce attorneys. You need to have those value bombs in there. That way, your newsletter now just becomes like an article that they read. And yes, it has real estate topics, but you can include an AI topic and an AI update, and you can include something about the auto industry and how the auto industry is failing right now. So something that somebody's going to get genuine value out of. And then at the end of it, of that newsletter, of all of those topics that are talked about in the newsletter, bring it full circle and say, hey, when the auto industry doesn't do well and it starts to crash, this is the effect that it can have on the housing market. So you can bring it full circle so people continue to understand what you do in your day to day, and what you're selling.
Great. Well, we have 5 minutes left, so let's see if anybody has any questions before we wrap this puppy up. If you have any questions, put them in the chat box. Go to, we're running a meeting. So
I
Mike,
know your
for
slide
someone
deck,
that's watching
Mike.
this,
Oh, go ahead, Rick.
I was saying for someone that's watching this, it's like, wow, they're taking it all in. It's like a water hose. This is all new to them. How would you advise someone start? Like if they want to get on this immediately, you spent a lot of time learning this. How would somebody start?
Um, I would say you need to go and search AI content creators, whether it be YouTube, go on YouTube and just say, uh, search a topic about AI and start following some AI content creators. That's where I get a lot of my information. They're, of course, going to talk about AI as a grand scale type of thing. And then you can then use it to see how you could leverage it to make your life easier as a loan officer, or as a realtor. Um, that's where I feel like my knack is I can take these higher level topics that I see these content creators for AI doing, and then be able to articulate that to the real estate side of the world in a way that it creates a tool that's helpful, or something that I can educate them on that they may not know about, that could make their business appear larger and leverage their time more. And like I said at the beginning, and this is something that I will preach as AI gets more and more powerful, use AI to make your life easier. That way you can be super dynamic to the human to human interaction. So right now I've got a tool that's called Fathom that's recording this whole thing, that will give me hot topic bullet point items, that I can follow up on. So whenever I'm speaking on a strategy session to a loan officer, or if I have a face to face with a realtor via Zoom, I have action items after that that I didn't have to sit and take notes for, because I don't have that kind of attention span. Um, and from there, I can have action items that I can follow up with that realtor on a week later. Hey, you told me that your son had a T-ball game on Saturday. Just wanted to follow up, see how that went. I'm sure he hit a home run. Hope you're doing well. If there's anything I can do for you, just let me know. And if you're following up with like
Yep.
specific things like that, and Rick and I have known each other for a long time, so this has always been a tactic of ours, but it's always been on like
Yep.
pieces of paper and a bunch of different stuff. Now it's digital. It can drop right into your CRM, and now you have action items for borrowers and realtors. And if you're a recruiter, you've got action items for the people that you're recruiting.
Yeah,
Love it.
and I do that still to this day. Like every realtor appointment, I have Fathom. I use Fathom to follow up. I use Fathom to create action plans. So yeah, it's super powerful. So
Yeah.
well, Ian, let's go and wrap this puppy up. I know we're pushing
Yeah,
time. Do you have
Mike,
any questions?
just if you want to just shout out, just give us the names of some of the other tools, because I know you are, or I know you played around, but just give us a list of at least of the apps and tools you are using, and we'll end it there.
Yeah, so Fathom is Zoom integration. It's not owned by Zoom, but it can attach to your Zoom and transcribe all of your meetings. It gives you the video of the meeting to where you can click around based on the topics. It's amazing. Claude is something that you can attach to your cell phone, or they have a little watch, and it can record your conversations and transcribe them into action items. So it's PLAUD, and I'll drop it in the group. I've got like a PDF that I'll give to everybody.
Oh, awesome.
Another one, of course, is ChatGPT. Claude is a very good one if you want to fake out social media and make it think that it was written by a human. Claude is very, very good at that. And then Gamma is great for presentations. Um, and those are the main ones that I'm using right now. I've got some higher level ones that I'm using. I created a personal shopper app for groceries, that will then go load up your Instacart and and execute that order, which is pretty sick.
Enter in carnivore diet. Go fill my cart.
Yeah. Hey, my budget's $150 for this week for groceries. Can you create a meal plan that's high in protein? It creates a whole meal plan, and then uses another AI to go into your Instacart and fill up the cart and
That's
execute it.
awesome. Awesome. Well, let's we're coming up. It's 11:30. Mike, can't thank you enough. Really look forward to you posting and sharing everything in the Facebook group as well. If you're watching this and you're not a member, head on over to Facebook, do a search for Mortgage Marketing Club, join the group. We'll have the recording up. We'll have Mike's PDFs up. If you have any questions, hit Mike up. Mike, how can everybody follow you on Instagram?
Instagram's at Real Mike Fitz. TikTok's at Real Mike Fitz. I'm going to start going live more on these kind of topics on TikTok. And then Facebook's just Mike Fitzpatrick. LinkedIn's Mike Fitzpatrick.
Awesome. Oh, do we have a question just
Thanks,
popped
Mike.
up? Oh,
Yeah, anytime. Ira did say something. What's up, Ira? How you doing, buddy? That
using,
is
Excel.
really helpful. If you as a loan officer want to track your stats, offload those stats into an Excel spreadsheet. If you're in Encompass, you can offload a lot of those stats into an Excel spreadsheet. Plug it into ChatGPT and then use it to chat with those data points and say, how many loans did I close last month? How many were on time? How many met the closing date? Yada, yada, yada. I use it a lot for my team on that at this